I keep talking about how potency of weed is just not the same. It used to be way bomber when I was getting a hold of my black market weed before legalization, which brings up the fact that those that had bomb weed and were smoking bomb weed during the legalization movement they helped build up a percentage of the anti-legalization moment. A lot of people that had bomb weed during legalization didn't want it to go legal because then that means that they're going to have to start paying taxes. You know, like a lot of them already had clearance to sell weed, because when you dig into the CIA, you figure out that the CIA is the one who supplies all the fentanyl coming. Like, if the fentanyl being smoked is not from the border, it's from the CIA. And sometimes even the cartel border fentanyl is from the United States CIA. Just to let you know. Just to let you know, that's how the drug market works. Is that you think you found some like unpoliced, ungoverned section of the universe somewhere within the United States, and you know some of the people on Facebook and Instagram. It's a joke. Somebody in there is ratting everything out on such a scale that you can't even tell. Like you're already, the fact that you're not selling the bomb weed yourself is right where they want it. So for you to think that you found someone that's not a cop, you know, like even my weed that I found that was bomb, I don't even know if that was a legitimate hookup. It was just the bombest weed, period. You know, like, just, you can't argue with it. So I stuck with it. But I always stayed alert. You know, I tried to pay attention to every last detail. Because even when things got weird, it was like, it didn't go the way I thought it would go. It was like, dang. So, I don't know. To me, it feels like there's a lot of people operating under a specific amount of clearance. And so as soon as you try to like confide within other people about dealing with legal issues, instantly you're at odds, because some of these people do not ever deal with those legalities. They don't deal with it. They're not targeted. You'll know if you're targeted. You'll know if you're being suppressed. You'll know if what you're doing is being allowed or not. They're allowing you to do it if you're doing it. Apparently they've concluded that you're not harming anybody directly, but they're still watching you. On that note, I know this is factual, and I will talk about it openly on YouTube, because when people smoke pre-rolls around me, it just smells like paper, and that's all wrong. Because even if I sold you the worst nug out of my sack, and you twisted up a joint, if you smoked that joint near me, I'd be smelling the weed that I sold you. I wouldn't be smelling the papers you rolled it in. And I remember smoking, like, we only had like 3 or 4 blunts in a circle of maybe 6 domes. And I remember being maybe the most fucked up I'd ever been just on a couple blunts, right? You can't do that with a couple blunts from the weed store, but anyways, this is funny because this just brings me into a targeting tactic where they send people to what ideally they'd have somebody come over and smoke some government fentanyl right next to me. But because I've found an area where they're like somewhat happy, they're like, oh, you found an area to be alone but still is like directly attached to the grid. That's a slam dunk for them, because now I'm homeless, hanging out in an alley, but I'm like right next to video cameras, and I'm just under surveillance the whole time. Like, City of Tempe just came over and parked right next to me and then drove away as soon as I said that. I almost got that on film. I'll see how much stuff I get on film. It was a City of Tempe truck, the Parks and Recreation most likely. I think they just go and do stuff with this delivery truck business. But whatever the deal is, wherever I sleep, they try and send someone to smoke fentanyl right on top of me. And because I've played their game just right, and I found some weird spot that's like right smack dab in the middle of the matrix grid, all the video cameras, all the electronics, all the 5G towers. Like, if you go find a 5G tower to go be alone at, they're happy because they can just beam 5Gs straight from the tower down to your homeless body. They love that. They love it when homeless people think that they have found a place that the government has let them be alone, and then you look up and you just see a 5G tower or I don't know if you can see that crop or the chemtrail. Yeah, so say you finally find a spot where the government leaves you alone. You're like, no one followed me. I can sit over here and there's not going to be any traffic. No one's going to bug me. I might actually be able to be alone right here. You'll look up and see a 5G tower or a chemtrail or a plane's going to fly over your head. Like, something will let you know that the grid, the matrix, the government, Big Brother, somebody's right there next to you. And like I said, since I'm in a spot where I've like somewhat cooperated with them, I'm stuck on the grid. I didn't veer off of the grid at all. Because if I veer off the grid, people show up and hang out with me the whole entire time. Because I found a spot that's on the grid and people already come here, people already work here, people already drive by here, it's easy for them to just tell people, hey, when you're driving through or going to work, or if you're going to be over there, you just need to stop right next to this alley and then do the most annoying activity possible until you can see activity triggered within the homeless person using that alley. Whole idea is to offset the comfort of the person trying to enjoy the alley. That way they think that there's just so much going on and all these people are just constantly going to be around you trying to cause disturbances that would result in you having to offset your current positioning and make sure that you're always in a discomforted situation while people are seemingly just randomly finding comfort on top of your lap or right next to you smoking fentanyl, or just to smoke a joint from the weed store that's only paper and smells like burning paper and not even weed. Like, why'd you come over here to smoke paper next to me and show off how stinky your paper is and how you just inhaled nothing but paper? Oh, you just puffed on it. You didn't inhale it. You just puffed paper smoke towards me to annoy me. Well, I guess if that's how you make your morning, then congratulations, right? So I have to put an end to this, right? I got to stop it where I got to make sure that whoever's coming over here to smoke next to me wherever I sleep in the morning, to make sure that as soon as I open my eyes in the morning after sleep, or I could sleep in the day, it doesn't matter. Wherever I sleep, day, night, morning, afternoon, anytime I sleep, what they like to do is if you take a nap, as soon as you open your eyes, you see somebody smoking next to you. So they probably did something else next to you too. So they'll come over and like unzip parts of my backpack to let me know they came over and checked on me. Maybe even administered some illegal medications or drugs or poisons, or just sprinkled some fairy dust on me. Who knows? But they'll come over and they'll undo a zipper or something. So I actually tie some of my zippers up in order to make it to where you have to sit there and you're gonna have to let me know if you're gonna touch my zipper. So in order to stop that, what I did was I came by when no one was watching. There's no cameras, there's no people, there's no cars, there's no planes, there's nothing. It's nighttime, it's dark out, you can't even hardly see anything. There's bushes, trees, walls, buildings everywhere. There's no direct line of sight to what I'm doing. You would have to be looking from outer space or a satellite, which is arguable to exist. There's wires that go through the ocean that deliver your internet, not satellites. People keep finding satellites with balloons, so there's a good argument towards there's not actually satellites and that they can't actually do it that way. So technically, if it's the middle of the night or very, very early in the morning, or it's like super dark out, no cameras, no people, no cars, nobody should see or know about anything that I did. Wouldn't that be correct? That should ideally be correct, but it's not correct. And why would that be? That has to be because of some monitoring device placed within the body, right? That has to be it. Otherwise, how would they know? How would they know? So I took a leak, took a nice fat